What's going on, people? It's Hypnofist here, just checking in with you guys. Hope you're all well, hope you're all safe. This video today is a prediction video. It's for the upcoming fight that's going to be between Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker. Um, Now, obviously, with the coronavirus, the fight has been postponed until further notice. Um, it was supposed to be scheduled for last month, but obviously that didn't happen. So it looks like the fight will be going ahead, but the date has to be sort of depending on how the situation evolves with the virus. The fight should be, the date will be formally announced, but this fight is still a go ahead to my knowledge. So I thought I'd just do a prediction video on it. The two fighters now is Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker. Now this fight is going to be at the welterweight division, although it isn't at the full weight limit of 147 pounds. It's actually a catch weight. So the weight I believe is 144. You've got two very different styles. You've got Regis Prograis. Now Regis Prograis' record as of now stands at 24 wins, 1 loss, 20 KOs. So he has about 83% KO ratio. And then Maurice Hooker is 27 wins, 1 loss, 1 by KO loss, 3 draws, and he has 18 KO. So he's got a record of a 67% KO ratio. Now, in terms of styles, I would say, firstly, in terms of levels, I'd say both guys are very similar in terms of styles, but in terms of levels and where they're at, I would say that Regis Prograis is, to me, he's an elite level title holder. He is a puncher slash pressure fighter, and he's also a sharpshooter as well. Then for Maurice Hooker, I would say he is an elite contender. Even though he's held a world title, I mean, his defenses were a bit, they're against pretty easy opponents, Sosado, Lespierre, they're not exactly world beaters, but I would say, yeah, he's a contender. He's an elite level contender. And in terms of styles, I would say he's a puncher also, similar to Regis Prograis, but he is also a boxer, and he's a sharpshooter. But I'm going to break down the differences between the fighters. Now, I'll start off with Regis. Regis, as I said, to me, he's an elite level title holder. So, I mean, he's a very good fighter. I was actually ringside at the Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis fight in London, and I got to see firsthand. I was quite close to the ring, and I could see how good Regis Prograis is as a fighter. He's very, very slick, excellent upper body movement, very tough, very durable, and he's a very good body puncher as well. Regis is a fighter who likes to box at long range, but he is most effective at the mid range. So he likes to break out of the long range and move into the mid range and get his work off there. He's very effective in the mid range. He's good to the body. He can jab very well. He steps in with his jab very well, and he goes to the body very well. He has excellent upper body movement. I mean, when I was watching him at the Taylor fight, in the early part of the fight, he was just moving super slick, man. His head was, was off the line, slipping, moving back, and it was a very good fight. It was a very good fight, very competitive fight as well. I think Taylor won clearly, in my opinion. It was a unanimous decision, but it was a close unanimous decision. I'd give him maybe 3 rounds. He pulled away quite well towards the end of the fight, I felt, and Regis seemed to fade a little bit. Once Josh realised that Regis doesn't deal with fighters who impose themselves, anyone who's tough enough to deal with Regis's power, it's you've got a good chance of nullifying him. But I'm going to get into that in a minute about his style. His upper body movement is very good. He's very hard to hit clean at times when he's close range. Regis is very good at exchanging shots. He can slip out and counter very well, and he's also very good at exchanging. He's actually better at exchanging, especially at the mid range. He's very effective at the mid range, and at the mid range he exchanges a lot better than he does. He trades, sorry, rather not exchanges. He trades extremely well at the mid range, and he uses his strength to physically overwhelm opponents, and his power as well to overwhelm and eventually try and get them out of there. He is a very good body puncher, and at the long range, however, he does sharpshoot very well. He's very good at sharpshooting. He's got a very good jab, very tidy, um, very accurate as well. At the long range, he can control spacing an opponent's with a jab. So if he's able to keep you on the back foot and box off the back foot, he can control you with the jab very well. It's very hard, very authoritative, and he's very efficient with the punch as well. Um, so he's very good with the jab at the long range, and the mid range he's very good on the inside as well. He likes to exchange, so he'll make you miss the shot using his upper body movement, and likes to come back with a single body shot or another one to the body, like 1-2. Um, and he's a pressure fighter as well. I mean, he can box on the back foot very well, but Regis is naturally someone who likes to pressure. He likes to, edge his way in, using the behind the jab, and once he's in that mid range, he likes to dig away at the body. Um, so he likes to fight more on the front foot than the back foot, definitely. Um, and Regis is a very good fighter, man. Very good fighter. Very good defensively. Um, but some weaknesses that I've noticed is that Regis doesn't have very quick feet. Regis is someone who likes to plant his feet a lot when he throws his shots. And the thing is, when he uses his upper body movement to evade, um, because he relies more on his upper body movement than his actual footwork to move out of punches, he is easy to catch if you can time him. Um, you can actually time Regis quite well because the thing is, he carries his hands very low. So because of that, he is open for counter shots. Um, and as he, like I said, he relies more on his feet. He relies more on his upper body movement to get out to get out of the way of punches. So he doesn't really move out of range that much. Once he moves in, he sort of hangs about in mid range, and he tries to slip and duck and bob and weave under shots coming. So sometimes he does get caught. Um, he is open to counter shots because of his low hands, and he's open to right hands at close range as well. Now, even though he's good pressuring and working his way on the inside, when he's past the mid range into that close range where he's body to body with an opponent, um, he doesn't really create the ideal spacing, and he doesn't create the correct range on his punches. The thing is, with his hands low, he sort of rolls and slips and moves back, leans back, but it puts him out of position to really turn his body into a shot. So a lot of his close range work is very reactionary. He doesn't really set up as good as he could, and he doesn't create the ideal punching range and the ideal spacing when he's chest to chest with an opponent. Um, so at the close range, he can be nullified a little bit because his punches are not as powerful. I think his punches are actually more powerful at the mid range than they are at the close range. Even though he's able to get his body work off better, he's more effective at the mid range than he is at the close. He doesn't, to me, he doesn't create the best angles on the inside, and Regis doesn't really catch and shoot punch. He doesn't catch and counter as well. He sort of relies on making an opponent miss and then making a miss and then countering with a single a one or a two. He doesn't really throw combinations as well. And with the fact that uses his upper body movement. I mean, on the inside, it starts to become a bit wasteful. I mean, instead of slipping and ducking and evading all those shots on the inside, it becomes a bit of wasted movement. So there could be instances where I feel he could maybe catch and counter instead of slipping out and not being in a position to come back with a counter shot. He can maybe catch a punch and counter with it, and then follow up with something as well. Now with the jab, it's not even though it's a good jab, it's very solid, very tidy, very efficient. It does telegraph slightly. He does telegraph the shot slightly. What he seems to do is he seems to lean over to his right slightly, and then he throws a jab. I've noticed that quite a lot. I mean, against Flanagan, it was very obvious. Sometimes he was telegraphing. These were little things that I just noticed about Regis. He telegraphs his right hand jab by leaning over to the right and then shooting the shot. And he throws a single. He doesn't really throw double jabs too much. He also throws single shots, and he edges his way in. But he telegraphs his shot, his jab quite a bit, and so I mean those are the sort of real flaws as well. I mean Regis's main problem is if someone can deal with his physical strength and his power, he can be nullified on the inside by someone using more physical style, grabbing him, pushing him back. Because he doesn't hold his hands up, he's not really able to sort of push back and come back with a counter shot, a quick counter shot as well. So I think Regis's main problem is his lack of ability to deal with physically bigger guys. And also he's just, to me, he's more effective at the mid range than he is at the on the inside. So I do think his inside game is probably the weakest part of his game is his inside when he's chest to chest. I think it is it's something that needs to be worked on. Now looking at his opponent, he's got his opponent across the corner is Maurice Hooker. Now Maurice Hooker, he's a puncher, as I said earlier, and he's a sharpshooter as well, and he's a boxer. Like I said, to me, even though he's won the world title, and I think he made 2 defenses of his world title before losing to Ramirez. I'll be honest. To me, Maurice Hooker is nothing more than a contender level fighter. An elite level contender, maybe an extremely low level world champion. I mean, he's not. Maurice Hooker, he's not the strongest guy in the division in terms of, his position in the division. Maurice is someone who likes to box at long range. He's actually very accurate as well at long range, and he likes to throw power shots as well. One good thing about Maurice is he can throw combos at long range. He likes to work more at the long range, and he's too preferredly he's between the long and the mid range, but he likes more the long range work. He has a good jab as well. It's very sharp, and when he boxes on the back foot, he can use his jab very effectively. He also has a very good right hand counter. He has a very good right hand. He's very fast. He's got decent hand speed as well. He's got a very fast right hand. He's a very good counter with it as well. And at the long range he's very good. He doubles up well with the jab, and he could throw combinations as well at range. So he's very effective on the back foot. He's very hard to break. Early in the fight, he's very hard to break the range with him and get into that mid range. So he's very good at controlling range on the outside. Again, he hasn't fought truly elite level guys. He's had a decent run at opponents, but he hasn't fought no top elite level guys. He's very good on the back foot. And he's a good boxer on the back foot. He can trade as well. He's actually comfortable trading, and going tit for tat with opponents as well. He can trade and exchange. He's comfortable doing both. Now, the problem, Maurice's main problem is he's not a very physically strong fighter. He boxes at what, 5'11", 5'11 and a half, and he's very tall and very lean. Um, he doesn't carry that much muscle mass, so he's quite physically weak at the size, and he can get hurt quite easily because of that. Because he's not very physically strong compared to his more shorter, stockier opponents that he's faced. I mean, look, at 5'11", Maurice Hooker could easily be boxing at junior middleweight. Easy boxing junior middle. You boxing, at middleweight. Look at Canelo. Canelo's what, 5'9". Some people say he's shorter than 5'9", and he's an absolute unit at 160. He's very well built, stocky. Maurice Hooker he's taller than Canelo Alvarez, for example, and he's fighting what, 3 weight classes below him: junior middle, light middleweight, welterweight, light welterweight. Yeah, so I mean, obviously this fight is at welter, but you could say he's 2 weight classes below. These smaller weight classes are not going to be ideal for someone who's 5'11". They're just going to struggle at the pure physical end of it. So he's very physically weak at the weight class. His lack of size at the weight class affects his punch resistance as well. I mean, he is chinny. He has been hurt. He's been dropped and knocked out by quite a few fighters. I remember he got dropped by Salcedo. He was knocked out by Ramirez. And I've seen him in a few other fights that I've watched him previously to getting hurt by lesser quality opponents. So, there are chin issues with him. And as I said, because of his lack of physical strength, at close range, he struggles with inside pressure and bullying. So if you get on the inside of him, he starts to sort of, fall apart a little bit. And he carries his lead hand low as well. So he himself is open to counter right hands. And the thing is with Maurice Hooker, he's someone who throws power shot combinations. He throws combinations, but he throws, the power shot. So he throws, left hook, right hand, left hook, uppercut, right hand, left hook, So he throws these power shots. He starts to fade as he gets further in the fight. And when he fades, he becomes easier to break into the inside. And he does load up on his shots a lot as well. I mean, he's very fast and, he's able to get his combinations off, but because he's someone who throws, lots of combinations on the outside, he starts to fade. He starts to fade quite quickly. Like he'll last maybe 6, 7, 8 rounds, and then he starts to get easy to get in on the inside of him. And he's not able to deal with physical guys. I mean, even Terry Flanagan himself was able to start really, breaking into that mid-range, close range, backing him up and making him fight on the ropes. If I'm honest with you, I'm backing Regis to win this one. I think Regis is going to struggle initially with the range of Hooker. I mean, tactics-wise, I expect Hooker to box on the back foot. I don't think he's going to try and engage with Regis because he knows, Regis does carry power. And I think with Bolmack in his corner, Bolmack's going to try and use his strengths. So he's going to try and use his range, his quick hand speed, and try and make Hooker try and outpoint Regis over 12 rounds. But I think Hooker's gonna fade at some point. Once he starts to lose that sharpness, Regis will start getting in and breaking into that mid range. Once it gets in the mid range, to me, if I'm honest with you, it's just gonna be a matter of time. So I expect Regis to win by KO. I'd say second half of the fight. Once he breaks that mid range, it's just gonna be a matter of time. He's gonna start chipping away at Hooker's body. and he's gonna take advantage of that Lee hand being held low by Hooker, and I think he stops. Hooker second half of the fight. So the official prediction from me is Regis Prograis to win by KO between rounds 7 and 12. I think between 7 and 10, I think he could stop him. I just think that Regis will struggle initially with the range, because Regis himself likes to work at range at times. Even though he's a pressure fighter, I think Maurice Hooker's speed, I think he's slightly faster than Regis, but I feel that Regis is a better counter puncher, a pure counter puncher than Hooker. But yeah, so, and he's more efficient. He doesn't throw as many punches as Hooker. Hooker's more busy, so if Regis presses him, he's going to be dealing with a lot of punches coming at him. And yeah, so I think Regis wins second half of the fight by KO. If you think otherwise, let me know in the comments below. If you have a comment on the fight, if there's anything you think either fighter has an advantage, drop a comment below. If you like the video, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. There'll be a few more videos coming up in the next 2 weeks. I've got the Dubois. I think the Dubois Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce. That's probably the next one I'm going to work on. And then also the Dylan White and Alexander Povetkin. The thing is, because of this coronavirus, it's completely affected the boxing schedule. So there's quite a few videos. Like I've got about 10 or 15 videos planned, but now because of the coronavirus, you've now got promoters rescheduling fights. You've got Inoue versus Casemiro. That was one I was going to work on. I may still do the video depending what happens, to be honest. But because of the situation, Casemiro now, Bob Arum is talking about mixing him up with Joshua Greer instead of Nano Inoue. And Greer and versus Maloney was another fight. Was another prediction I was going to do. But because of the schedule, now I'm not sure which fight's going to go ahead, so I don't want to be pushing out content if it's if it's pointless, if the video ends up being pointless because the fight doesn't go ahead. I don't want to be pushing out videos. So I've got a few videos that I think I've got a few, a couple of videos coming up. But there was a lot more on the table. But until everything comes back to normal and the fights get signed off officially, there's just a couple of videos that will be coming out soon. But anyway, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, and share the video. Just keep checking up on the channel, and just stay safe. I hope you guys are all good. Have a great day, and just stay safe, everybody. All right, peace.